Hi guys, hope you're doing well and having a good start to your week. I'm going to go over the week 13 module contents. So go ahead and scroll down with me. We are in the middle of your research paper module, which is the last one of our course. I wanted to thank you guys for your argument essays. I have finished grading those, so if you want to check on your grades now, you can. And there are comments there for you. Especially in that paper, you want to be sure that you check the comments regarding using outside sources and works cited and all of that good stuff so that you can use them on your final paper and know what to improve on. Okay, so this library module is from COS and it just has some information on how to get started, how to search for keywords, how to use the database if you've never used the library before. So check that out if you like. Probably the main place you're going to go for articles using COS library is the EBSCO article database. So that's this link here. Okay, so last week we did They Say, I Say Part 1. I hope you're able to find the copy of that textbook if you need it in the course resources. And you wrote your thesis and completed your annotated bibliography. So you do need to go through all the steps. If for whatever reason you missed the bibliography or thesis, do that before you write your rough draft. Okay, so you need to have all of the first steps done before you can turn in your rough draft or your final draft. Just make a note of that. And for these ones, I will take them late. I'm going to dock for not being on time, of course, but you need to complete them for the final paper regardless of when. Okay, and that brings us to week 13. Our discussion this week is called Fake News and Media Credibility. So go ahead and check out that. You're going to post by Wednesday and respond to 2 peers by Friday. Your quiz this week is on They Say, I Say Part 2. So again, that's more than one chapter. It's the part, not the chapter. So be sure that you're reading the complete Part 2 section and your quiz is on that. Go ahead and click with me on the making an outline materials. We're going to go through your writing assignment for this week, which is an outline. Okay, so an outline is like a map or a plan for your research paper. In this outline, we're going to be pretty specific and we're going to include our quotations and the evidence that we want to use in the outline. I do that in this step because it's part of the paper writing process that takes a lot of time, and if you can get it out of the way earlier, it'll make life easier for you down the road. And so we're going to actually paste our evidence into our outline so that we know where we're going to use it and how. This is a good video about what an outline is and what its function is. And here are some templates that you can take a look at. Okay, again, this is from our Excelsior College robot video, but it's got some good information as well on how an outline might be done in a different course. And I'm having the same problem that I had last week. There's the next button there. Okay. Writing your outline is the one major assignment this week. So be sure that you are doing your research, you're putting in the time to find credible articles. If you can do this during the week when people are able to respond to emails, for instance, the ASC or the library, that's a lot better than waiting till Sunday if possible. But they will respond to you. And if you need an extension because for whatever reason you're having a technical issue, just let me know, and that's usually not a problem. All right, so here's what we're going to do for the outline this week. Here's what you need for full credit. Okay, you need a title, which is not research paper, so a title that goes with your paper, and a thesis statement at the end of your introduction. Okay, so your title's more than one word, has to do with your topic, etc. You're going to fill in at least 2 distinct causes or historical factors for your problem, and I'll show what that looks like in a minute. And you're going to fill in at least 3 distinct specific effects of your problem, and then 1 possible solution. Okay, so this is just like you have your problem solution paper mapped out because you've done the research, you've looked at what people are saying, you've looked at the credible evidence, and you can figure out what the causes of your problem are, who it affects and how, and what a good solution would be. Now, as you write, you're probably going to need to change, and that's totally fine, but you want to go in having an idea of where you're going with your writing in the paper. That's what this is designed to do. So what I would do is just copy and paste this into a document if you're using Microsoft Office. If you're using Google Docs, you can just click on this link here and make a copy of the template, but they're essentially the same thing. Okay, so your intro your causes of the problem, your effects of the problem, your potential solution, and your conclusion. This is the structure that I'm going to be looking at for all of your problem solution papers. And that, again, is why it's so important that you pick something that is actually a problem with causes and effects and not just a simple controversial issue. Okay, so if you're not clear on the distinction with that, then just send me a message and I can take a look at your topic. All right, there is the rubric for your outline. And here is a sample for you to look at. This is a partially complete outline, so don't look at it for what's required for full credit, but it'll give you an idea of what you need to include. Okay, so under each header, you're going to describe what you'll do in that paragraph. So what are you going to do for your hook? What are you going to do for your background info? And under these letters, these lowercase a and b letters, that's where you're going to paste your actual facts. Okay, so I want your quotes that you're going to be using from outside sources that hopefully you found when you were researching for your bibliography. Paste those in where you might use them in your paper. Okay, now, it doesn't have to be entirely complete, but I am looking that you have some evidence in each section at this point. Okay, so for instance, history of background causes of the problem, I'm going to fill in what I think is a cause. Okay, why does my problem continue? And I'm going to make that into a complete sentence that relates to my evidence. Okay, so that is my writing, and then beneath it I have pasted, in this case, a picture of the article I'm going to use. You can do screenshots if you need to. If you're unable to copy a PDF, you can also just paste in the text, but it should be an outside quotation that goes in those lowercase letters in the outline. Okay, now you can see here I haven't fleshed out all of it. It's just partially complete, but I know what I'm going to be researching, and I know what I'm going to be saying in that part of the paper. Okay, here's an effect of the problem. Why does the problem matter? Who's it affecting and how? And here I've pasted a chart. Okay, so you can do that as well. If you find a good piece of information that's graphic, feel free to just screenshot it and paste it in. Finally, I go down to my possible solution. Okay, you should just have at least one. If you have more than one, that's fine. But at least one solution that you have figured out in your mind. Okay, and then conclusion, if you have some ideas of what you'll say there, great. If not, just mark a space for it. Okay, that's what we're going to do in the conclusion. Okay, so that is a sample outline on a topic. This was just partially complete from a few semesters back, but you can use it as a model if it helps you. And that takes us to the end of week 13. So if you are having trouble completing the annotated bibliography, email me on that and I can point you in the direction of some articles if you're having trouble finding them. But again, you want to complete the annotated bibliography before you attempt to do any of the outline, and especially before you attempt to do any of the paper writing. Okay, so that was from last week, your annotated bibliography and your thesis. Those are the first steps. And then this week, we're just doing an outline. Okay, so get caught up if you need to get caught up. But again, keep in mind, just like last week, it looks like a small assignment, but the research is what takes a lot of time. You're going to have to look for articles. Some of them will work, some of them won't. You're going to have to figure out what information is worth keeping. And that's the brunt of this week's work. So you want to leave enough time to do some really thorough reading this week. All right, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're taking good care of yourselves. And feel free, please, to email me if you have any questions or text me, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Have a great week.